Alright, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I invited a few friends over today for a barbecue. The first time I've done that I think it's the first time I've actually done that since I found the barbecue on the side of the road. The brand new Big Boss fucking barbecue I found on the side of the road at the start of the year, I think it was. I can't even remember. Obviously, you don't tell your guests you found it on the side of the road. You just tell your guests, yeah, I don't mind a smoke up every now and then. I have a pretty good rub I like to whack on the old lamb. But I ended up catching the barbecue on fire. Thank fucking God that's what barbecues are built for, though. They're built for fire. I don't know what the fuck happened. There must have been a lot of buildup of animal fats in the tray below. I shut the hood, and when I opened it back up, it was just full of fucking smoke. And I looked down, and the whole tray's on fire below. I turned the burners off, and the entire tray was just burning up hard. It was pretty fucking smoky. It added a little bit of flavor to the meat, but the fucking 3 vegans that lived next door weren't too fucking happy. One of them came out and they're like, we can smell that inside. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have to fucking put up with the smell of your hummus every day. Hummus! So I just let the fat burn. Turned the burners off, saved a little bit of gas, let the fat burn. It was a win-win situation. I added flavor to the meat, and now I don't need to clean that tray. It's self-cleaning if you set it on fire. It was fucking nice. Barbecues are good. Having people around is nice too. It was pleasant. It was a nice, pleasant fucking day. Just talking shit with a couple of old friends about the fucking pieces of shit we grew up with. That's so fucking fun to do when you catch up with cunts you grew up with. And you just start reeling off names of pieces of shit that you grew up with. There was a fucking long list. The seedy underbelly of the place I grew up really was disgusting. There's no other way you can cut it. It was filled with, I'm not even going to say degenerates, because degenerates has some sort of like positive overtones to it. A degenerate can be lovable as well. These people weren't lovable. These people were fucking scum. That's it. I'm really struggling today with some of the people we were listing to find any redeeming qualities out of any of them whatsoever. Maybe most places are like that. I'm not too sure. Maybe I just don't see it as much anymore because I'm not fucking a part of the disgusting underbelly of society. Although I could easily rejoin. There seemed to be like 3 layers. There was the normal people who lived normal, happy lives, or seemed to live normal, happy lives. There was my tier, which I would call the degenerates. And the degenerates sort of had a fucking foot in each world. And then the lower level was just the scum. Every type of scumbag that you can imagine. And I call them irredeemable, but I don't actually mean that. Everyone is redeemable. No matter what the fuck you've done, you can be redeemed. I call them irredeemable, but I mean they were never going to change. Like, they weren't even thinking of redemption. You know the type of people. I'm sure all of you know the type of people I'm talking about. You probably may have even thought you were one of those type of people at some point in your life. Well, you're not. Trust me. If you've found this podcast, you are definitely not one of the irredeemables. The irredeemables don't even know what a podcast is, for starters. And they certainly wouldn't be typing quitting into anything. There were a disproportionate amount of those people in my town. There had to have been. We were just fucking reeling off names. My mate was like, he's bumped into a couple of these people over the years, and he's like, they have not changed at all. Their life has continued. They're older. In the books, they're older, but they have not changed at all. And don't get me wrong, I spent a lot of fucking time with these people too. I don't mind indulging in the fucking muck either. But there's a certain type of muck that it just felt like muck. It felt like you were getting dirty. There was no way to glorify what you were doing. Like cunts living under bridges, shooting up heroin and shit like that. Everyone going over to the bridge and smoking bongs. Just rolling around in the shit, really. And I always had the feeling if I indulged too much in that fucking world, that it was going to be very difficult for me to climb out of the muck. And at that level, it wasn't actually fun. No one was having fun. It was all dire. It was more junkie type behavior. Lying, backstabbing, fucking fighting, just fucking people over. It was disgusting. I was more into trying to have some fucking fun. And so was everyone else in that degenerates crew. I've seen a few of these people over the years as well, not for a long time, but let's say 5 or 6 years ago, and it's impossible to speak to them now. It's absolutely fucking impossible. They're either too cooked, they've completely fried their fucking circuits, and they are on the verge of becoming vegetables, or they're exactly the same as they were when they were 14. They haven't grown up at all. They have the same mentality. There's nothing to talk about. What are you going to fucking talk about? How the weed dealer gave you a 0.8 instead of a gram. Don't you have 3 kids now? Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, the lamb was good. I cooked some fucking tasty lamb. Some snags, some fucking chicken wings. It was a great fucking barbecue. I loved it. I'm doing it again in 9 months. Anyway, that's it for me tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around, and I'll see ya the fuck later.